One of the important features missing from the Essentials version as opposed to the Deluxe version of Pictures2Exe is our ability to edit audio within the audio tracks in the timeline down here. Now in the show that we've just created, you can see we've got a background track, and I'll just press get the viewer to play, and you may have noticed that the background track went from 0 volume up to 100% over about 2.5 seconds, and this is controlled by what's called the envelope. And if we just click on this little icon here, that removes the envelope and that brings it back. And the envelope works by placing nodes like this here, or keyframes, whatever you want to call them. So I've just left click there, left click again, we can drag the volume, left click again, and drag it back up. So now if we play the music track, you could drag it all the way down to 0 if you wanted to. If you don't want a node, right click it, right click, right click, right click. Okay, so let's just expand, because we can have several audio tracks. I'll just move this up here so we can see a little bit better our audio tracks here. And don't forget that we can scroll through our show with the mouse wheel. We can use our control key and the scroll wheel to squish or to compact the show into a smaller space along the timeline, or to expand it so that we've got greater resolution as to what we're doing here. Okay. And also, if we press the Shift and the Control key, we can actually expand or contract the audio and the images. So if you're doing some critical audio work, you might want to expand that so you can really get some accurate nodes applied. So what can we do with audio? So we've got a background track, but we can also introduce additional bits of audio. Just expand this out a little bit. So say we wanted to bring in a bit of audio, a sound effect for this particular aircraft here. So let's go to, I think it's that one there. Let's just play it in the mini player. Okay, so that sounds pretty much like this type of aircraft. So we could, if we want, drag that into a new track like that. Okay. We could maybe just drag the end in there, position it somewhere like that, and maybe put a node there, and drag the sound effect down. Okay. There we go. So let's have another look at that. So we've got a load of sound going on now. So we need to reduce the volume of the background track so we can hear the sound effect. So select a node there, or make a node there, left click, down it goes, left click, bring it back up again. Okay, so now we can play that. Okay, now say I wanted that soundtrack or that bit of music attached to that image, so that wherever I move this image within the timeline, the sound effect goes with it. So all I need to do is select the image, right click on the music or soundtrack, and down here we've got link audio clip to slide 5, which is slide 5 there. So select that, and you can see there's a little arrow saying I am now linked to slide 5. I'll go to the slides view there, and if I was to move this, say, to up here, so it now becomes slide 8. Let's go back to the timeline, and we can see that it's now slide 8 and that audio track has moved with it. Okay, we'd probably have to move this dip in volume here in the background track, but we've actually associated that sound with that slide. Okay, and you can do that with commentary, which is probably one of the most useful ways of using this. What else can we do? So let's just Shift Control and just shrink these up a little bit. And I'll Control Z to undo that, so it goes back to where it was. We can drag another audio track in. So let's drag that audio track into there. Again, we can just drag in the sides. We can also expand it again. Okay, so the sound is always there. And maybe we'll have the Thunderbirds theme tune. Okay, now here I'm going to right click on here and I'm going to mute the track. Okay, so you can see that that track is muted. I'll also mute this track here, mute the track. So now if we drag the cursor to there, we'll get a so that's kind of like a hard cut between the two soundtracks, but we can, if we wish, drag that one across and it will create an automatic fade between the two tracks. Okay, so you can do that with multiple tracks, fading and reducing volumes with nodes. So it's a powerful tool, way of editing your audio. You can also have a look at your project options, and in here we've got audio, and if we look here we've got 1, 2, 3 tracks, and here we've got 1, 2, 3 tracks, and we can see the different bits of audio that we have within our timeline. And it would include verbal tracks as well. And so even within here we can control the way that particular audio track works, including changing the overall volume of that particular track. So click OK. So hopefully that's given you a bit of a better idea of how we can use audio and manipulate audio within the timeline here.